The year was 1967, and the air in Detroit was charged with excitement and anticipation. People from all walks of life had gathered in a large hall, eager to listen to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man known for his powerful speeches and unwavering commitment to civil rights. This event was not just another rally, it was a celebration of hope, unity, and the promise of change. As the crowd settled in, their eyes sparkled with expectation, ready to absorb the words of a leader who had already inspired many. The stage was set for a memorable evening. Colorful banners hung from the walls, and the warm lights flickered gently, creating an inviting atmosphere. Friends embraced each other, sharing stories, while others whispered about the impact Dr. King had made in their lives. His message had traveled far beyond city limits, resonating deeply within the hearts of those yearning for justice and equality. When Dr. King arrived, a hush fell over the crowd. His presence commanded attention. He exuded warmth and strength as he approached the microphone. With his characteristic charisma, he greeted everyone, spreading an immediate sense of connection. It was clear that he was not just there to speak, he was there to share a vision that included every individual present in that room. As he began his speech, Dr. King spoke passionately about love, justice, and the power of community. He inspired listeners to work together for a better future. But little did they know that this speech would take an unexpected turn. The moment came when he paused to look out into the sea of faces before him, and said something that would change everything. "Today," he announced with a twinkle in his eye, "I want to invite someone very special to stand with me." The audience stirred with curiosity as Dr. King prepared to reveal a story that would tug at their hearts and unite them in an unforgettable way. The atmosphere in the hall was electric, buzzing with anticipation as people exchanged smiles and friendly nods. The colorful banners that adorned the walls fluttered lightly in the warm breeze from ceiling fans, adding a festive touch to the gathering. The scent of freshly prepared snacks wafted through the air, mingling with the sounds of laughter and chatter. Young children played near their parents while elders shared stories about the civil rights movement, feeling buoyed by hope for a brighter future. As Dr. King stepped onto the stage, there was a collective intake of breath. His presence filled the room with an aura of inspiration. Everyone felt connected to him, as if he were speaking directly to their hearts. With every word, he painted vivid pictures of a world where justice reigned and equality flourished. He spoke not just of dreams but of actionable change, capturing the audience's imagination. In that moment of unity, something remarkable was about to happen. After stirring words about community and compassion, Dr. King took a moment to look out over the crowd, his eyes sparkling with sincerity and purpose. The audience leaned in closer, eager to absorb every detail of his delivery. As he announced that he would invite someone very special to stand beside him, whispers rippled through the crowd like waves in water. Who could this person be? The curiosity was palpable. You could almost feel it radiate from each individual in attendance. Then, with a warm smile, he called forth Thomas Avery, a janitor whose hard work had often gone unnoticed despite his significant role in maintaining that very hall where they gathered. Thomas had quietly cleaned the building for years, making it a welcoming space for others. This simple gesture was about to elevate him from anonymity to recognition in an inspiring way that would capture everyone's heart. As the audience buzzed with curiosity about who Dr. King was inviting, a spotlight illuminated Thomas Avery as he made his way to the stage. To many in the room, Thomas was a familiar yet often overlooked figure, an unassuming janitor who had dedicated years to keeping the hall clean and welcoming. His humble demeanor contrasted sharply with the grandeur of the event, but that night, he was about to become much more than just a name on a maintenance staff list. Thomas had a gentle spirit and a quiet strength that spoke volumes. He worked diligently behind the scenes, often starting his day before dawn and finishing long after most people had left. With each sweep of his broom and each wipe of a surface, he created an environment where voices could be heard, dreams could flourish, and communities could gather. Though he rarely sought attention, his dedication was felt by everyone who entered the hall, a place made bright and inviting by his efforts. Years of hard work had molded Thomas into a resilient person. He faced many challenges, including financial hardships and societal prejudices, yet he never let those obstacles define him. Instead, Thomas embodied perseverance and humility, believing that every task, no matter how small, contributed to something greater. He often reflected on his own life experiences and understood that while he may have been cleaning floors, he was also helping to pave the way for change. As Dr. King spoke about equality and respect for all people, he recognized that Thomas's story was one that needed to be told. He wanted everyone to see the value in individuals like Thomas, those whose contributions might go unnoticed but are vital nonetheless. When Thomas finally stood beside Dr. King on that stage, it was more than just recognition. It was a celebration of dignity for every hardworking individual whose efforts often remain in the shadows. Together, they represented hope not only for themselves but for countless others striving for recognition in their own lives. As Dr. King prepared to reveal the identity of his special guest, a wave of anticipation swept through the audience. Everyone leaned in closer, their hearts racing with curiosity. The atmosphere was thick with emotion. People whispered to one another, wondering who could possibly share the stage with such an esteemed leader. Then, with a warm smile and a twinkle in his eye, Dr. King called out Thomas Avery's name. The crowd fell silent as they turned to see Thomas making his way up the steps to the stage. His presence was unassuming, yet at that moment, he became the focal point of an extraordinary celebration. As Thomas stood next to Dr. King under the bright lights, a collective gasp echoed through the hall. This was not just any invitation. It was a profound acknowledgement of someone whose hard work had often been overlooked. Dr. King turned to Thomas and began to share his story with the audience. He described how Thomas had cared for the hall day after day, ensuring it was clean and welcoming for everyone who entered. As he spoke, you could feel the room shift. People began to understand that this wasn't merely about recognizing one man but about honoring all those who served quietly and diligently behind the scenes. With each word Dr. King shared about Thomas's life, his struggles, his dedication, and his unwavering spirit, the emotion in the room swelled. Tears filled many eyes as they realized how much impact one person could have on their community through simple acts of service. Then came a powerful moment when Dr. King declared that everyone has value and deserves recognition, regardless of their position or status in society. The crowd erupted into applause, standing as one in appreciation for both Dr. King's message and for Thomas Avery himself, a humble janitor whose contributions had finally found their rightful place in the spotlight. This unexpected invitation transformed an ordinary moment into an extraordinary one that would resonate deeply within each attendee's heart. As Thomas Avery stood beside Dr. King on that stage, the atmosphere shifted from anticipation to deep emotion. Dr. King looked into the eyes of the audience, his voice resonating with warmth and conviction as he began to share details about Thomas's life. Here stands a man who has spent years serving this community in ways most people overlook, he said, pointing to Thomas with admiration. Dr. King revealed that Thomas had not only cleaned and maintained the hall but had also done so with pride and unwavering dedication, regardless of the many challenges he faced outside those walls. He rises before dawn and works tirelessly to create an inviting space for all, Dr. King continued, ensuring that everyone understood that Thomas was more than just a janitor. He was a pillar of strength within the community. As Thomas listened, gratitude and humility shone on his face while the crowd began to absorb this revelation. Dr. King went on to recount personal anecdotes, how Thomas often engaged with others, offering words of encouragement or a smile, proving that kindness can thrive even in seemingly small roles. The audience sat in rapt attention, feeling every word resonate within them. A wave of recognition swept over those present as they gradually realized that Thomas represented countless individuals who worked quietly without accolades or acknowledgement. Dr. King's eloquent storytelling made it clear: every task contributes to the greater good, and everyone deserves respect and appreciation. Then came a moment when Dr. King shifted his message to one of powerful equality, stating emphatically that no role is too small and no person too insignificant to be celebrated. The emotional weight of those words hit home for everyone in attendance as they reflected on their own lives and experiences. The audience erupted into applause, tears streaming down many faces, not just for Thomas but for all those like him whose hard work often remains hidden. This celebration wasn't merely about one man's recognition, it forged a deeper understanding of community strength within each heart present that night, igniting hope for a future filled with dignity for all. As Dr. King's words washed over the audience, a palpable shift occurred. The emotional energy in the room surged. Eyes widened, and many faced a torrent of emotions as they listened to Thomas Avery's story unfold. When Dr. King expressed the importance of recognizing every person's contributions, the audience felt a collective stirring within their hearts. One by one, people began to respond to the moment. Some wiped away tears, while others held hands tightly, feeling more connected than ever to those around them. Those who had come together under one roof were now united in a shared understanding of dignity and respect for every individual, whether prominent or unseen. The atmosphere transformed into something electric. It was as if everyone present realized that this event was not just about Thomas, but about their own experiences and struggles too. As Dr. King declared that no role is too small to matter, an overwhelming sense of affirmation coursed through the hall. The audience erupted into spontaneous applause and cheers, standing to their feet in solidarity. Amidst all this, Thomas stood with Dr. King, his heart filled with gratitude and humility. The sight of this humble janitor recognized before such a powerful crowd brought home the message that every individual's efforts are worthy of appreciation. In those moments of recognition, many people in the room reflected on their own lives. Some might have seen themselves in Thomas's journey or recalled individuals in their lives who deserved similar acknowledgement. A sense of empowerment swept across the hall. Attendees realized they could carry this message back into their communities. They understood that by honoring those who served quietly or went unnoticed, they would strengthen the bonds that united them. As clapping subsided and voices quieted down again, people returned to their seats with tear-stained faces yet glowing hearts. The stirring reaction signaled not just an acknowledgement of Thomas Avery as an individual but also a powerful reinforcement of community spirit and hope for collective change moving forward. As the crowd settled into the powerful reflection that followed Dr. King's tribute, he took a moment to articulate a crucial message, the essence of equality. With passion in his voice, he emphasized that every person, regardless of their occupation or social status, deserves recognition and respect. "Mr. Avery's story is not unique," he proclaimed, looking directly at the audience with earnest eyes. "It reflects the story of countless individuals who labor in silence, yet contribute richly to the fabric of our society." Dr. King spoke eloquently about how society often places great value on fame and fortune while neglecting those who fulfill critical roles that keep communities thriving: teachers, janitors, caregivers, those who may not be seen but are essential all the same. As he elaborated on this theme, it became clear that Thomas Avery was a symbol of the unsung heroes among us. The heartfelt acknowledgement stirred something deep within the hearts of those present. They could feel themselves in Thomas's narrative. He urged everyone to recognize that equality extends beyond civil rights. It includes recognizing the dignity in everyday work and appreciating each person's contribution to the community's well-being. "True freedom comes when we honor one another," Dr. King declared, his words resonating like a bell ringing through the hall. The audience nodded in agreement as they absorbed this vital lesson, feeling inspired to carry it into their lives. This respectful recognition of individuality was not just a rallying cry for social justice but a humble reminder that everyone plays a part in shaping a better world. By linking Thomas's humble position to a broader context of social equality and community involvement, Dr. King's message ignited a flame of solidarity within those present. They began to understand that honoring one another fundamentally alters relationships and strengthens communities. This was about collective agency, the power each person has to uplift others and foster an inclusive environment where everyone can thrive together. In that moment of unity and understanding, an unwavering commitment to equality took root among the attendees, propelling them forward with hope and purpose as they contemplated their roles within their respective communities moving forward. The legacy of Thomas Avery extended far beyond that memorable night in Detroit. While he was a humble janitor, his story resonated deeply within the hearts of those who heard it, inspiring many to reflect on their own lives and the lives of those around them. The recognition he received from Dr. King transformed him into a symbolic figure, a reminder that true worth lies not in status or wealth but in the impact one has on others. As people left the hall that evening, they carried with them a newfound appreciation for individuals like Thomas, who embody selflessness and dedication. Many attendees began sharing their own stories of quiet heroes within their communities: teachers who stayed late to help struggling students, parents who worked multiple jobs to provide for their families, and volunteers who dedicated their time to uplift others. The event sparked a movement of sorts, encouraging everyone to acknowledge and celebrate the unsung contributions that often go unnoticed. In the days and years that followed, Thomas Avery became a beacon of hope. Schools began to incorporate lessons on recognizing the value of every individual, emphasizing kindness and respect in their curricula. Community organizations launched initiatives honoring local heroes, ensuring that those who work behind the scenes receive the recognition they deserve. Moreover, his story inspired discussions around social justice and equality. Activists advocated for better working conditions and fair wages for those often overlooked in society. Thomas's narrative became part of a larger dialogue about uplifting marginalized voices in the fight for civil rights. Ultimately, Thomas Avery's legacy was one of empowerment and inspiration. It reminded people that everyone has a role to play, no matter how small it may seem, and that every contribution enriches the community as a whole. His story echoed through generations, instilling values of empathy and appreciation in countless hearts, encouraging others to follow suit. It was an enduring call to honor one another and recognize the beauty in our shared humanity, fostering a world where every individual is celebrated for their unique contributions. As the crowd dispersed that evening, the impact of Dr. King's words lingered in the air, echoing the messages of equality and the importance of recognizing every individual's contributions. This event was not merely a moment in time, it became a defining experience for many who were present. Attendees left with hearts full of hope and purpose, inspired to carry forward the lessons they had learned. In the months and years that followed, communities began to embrace the principles highlighted during that powerful speech. Schools introduced programs focused on kindness, respect, and community service, fostering a new generation of empathetic leaders. People started actively seeking out opportunities to recognize those whose hard work often went unnoticed, be it through awards, appreciation events, or simply acknowledging their efforts in daily conversations. The legacy of Thomas Avery, as illuminated by Dr. King, became a rallying cry for many who sought to uplift those around them. It served as a reminder that each person's story matters and that everyone has the potential to make a difference in their community. The dialogue surrounding social justice grew richer, with advocates pushing for better working conditions and fair treatment for all individuals, especially those in low-paying jobs or essential roles. Reflecting on that night in Detroit, it is clear that Dr. King's invitation to Thomas Avery was more than just a gesture of recognition. It was an invitation for all people to look beyond titles and see the humanity in one another. The emotional responses witnessed during that event transformed into actionable change. People began to stand up for one another in ways they had never considered before. In conclusion, the story of Thomas Avery is not just his own, it has become part of a larger narrative about community, respect, and equality. It reminds us that every individual has value and plays a crucial role in shaping our shared future. As we move forward together, let us honor this legacy by continuing to uplift one another and recognizing the beauty in our diverse contributions to society, fostering an environment where everyone feels valued and celebrated.